This is Will Montgomery, former Washington Redskins center.
Yo, what's good, folks? This is Trey Johnson, the headbanger, yo, and you're listening to Mess Hall with Rally Captain and Tailgate Ted. Word.
What's going on, Rally? How you been, man?
Hey, man, I'm taking it one day at a time. As you know, uh, everything is up in the air with a lot of different people in the DMV as well as nationwide. So once again, my prayers and my hat goes off to all the people that have been affected by what's going on in the world today. And that's all I'm going to say about that. With just my thoughts and prayers are with you guys, and hopefully you can get back to work real soon. But other than that, man, I'm happy to be one of the blessed employed people in the DMV because, you know, commanders don't care about layoffs. They want their money monthly. So we got to do what we got to do to keep this thing rolling. How are you doing? Because I understand you've been going through a lot yourself.
Yeah, I'm good, man. I appreciate it. The father-in-law got sick, so we had to go down to Florida, take a unexpected trip down there to go check up on him and just kind of going around. You were mentioning, the jobs and the layoffs and stuff. It's kind of hitting close to home over here on the tailgate front. So just been trying to keep the head down and focusing. If anyone knows a job that will pay me to cook and play pickleball, sign me up. I mean, we can talk about salary later, but as it is, I wouldn't mind if I can turn those two things into something lucrative. But other than that, I'm good, man. And I appreciate the listeners for understanding kind of what's been going on. Sometimes, life gets in the way. We gotta take care of family and everything else. But good news is father-in-law is doing better.
Good.
So, glad we got a chance to go down there and visit him and check up on him. I did get some pickleball in down in Florida since it was nice and warm down there. And actually, speaking of, man, how's your journey going, man? It's been a couple of weeks.
It's been a couple weeks, and so the first week I told you I got pickled, but it's to be expected. I mean, this lady just got into my just tore me up. But the second week I did better, and I wasn't able to do it the week last week, but this week I'm getting back out there, and like I said, I'm ready to go ahead and I think purchase my own paddle,
Ooh,
get some little special things on the paddle to say who I am and what I represent and what I'm all about. So I'm looking forward to it. Hey man, it's just one of those things where you transition. I still ride my bicycle, but not as much now. I think that pickleball may be where I get my exercise besides my normal routine that I do.
oh, that's awesome to hear, man. I'm loving that. I kind of bummed that you didn't talk to me about the paddle you bought. I'm a paddle nerd. I actually just bought one yesterday. I've been waiting for a month and a half. That just released and it's in the mail as we speak. So I'm looking
Okay.
forward to getting that. I am curious to hear what you ended up getting and how the hell you're going to change that thing up. So,
Well, I haven't gotten it yet because, like I said, this is only my third time. This week is only my third time playing, so I'm still looking at paddles to how I want to personalize them, if you will.
gotcha. Well, I'm imagining a big Rally Captain logo and some other stuff on there. So I'm sure it'll be fly like much like the rest of the stuff you end up customizing and making. So looking forward to seeing what that is. I'm going with a just another paddle that's from these pro players that use these things all the time and that just got dropped the other day. But there's a tournament
Mm.
I'm playing in at the end of this month. So I'm fingers crossed that thing actually shows up with a couple of days notice so I can actually get a chance to use it beforehand.
Okay, so you got to tell me once again. I'm a novice. Uh, what type of paddle, if you will, or what are the benefits of this particular paddle that you're getting versus one that you can just pick up off of Amazon? I mean, does it help the ball spin? What? Come on, talk to me. What's
All
the
the
secret?
above, man. So I mean, you can get this on Amazon, but it's 280 bucks. I don't
Oh heck
recommend you
no.
I don't recommend you spending more than 100 to 150 bucks on a paddle for you or anyone that's just starting off. This thing
Mm.
has carbon fiber face to it, so you can spin the ball more without getting super nerdy about it. Imagine inside there's like a trampoline, so when the ball hits it, it actually just shoots off even faster. So just different stuff to it, man, that make it special. Why you want to spend that kind of money, but you can get a good paddle if you're going to compete for about 150 bucks. You don't have to spend more than that. This to me is personal preference, and I've been
Okay.
waiting for this thing for a while. It comes down to swing weight, how fast that thing feels in your hands when you're moving, and just other stuff. So if any of our listeners are curious, hit me up. I know we got some that actually play, but
Okay.
when you and I get out to the court, man, I'll definitely let you try it out so you can kind of see.
All right. Well, definitely, because I got to tell you, right now, brother ain't spending that type of money. It just ain't on the paddle. It just ain't happening. Now, I'm still a novice. But one of the things that always amazes me is when I have played these last two times, everyone has said, you don't look like this is your second time playing this game. And that makes me feel good. Or either they're trying to pump my head up and say, this guy really sucks, you know?
Nah, most of the people that I've played with have all been awesome. Other than the guy that cursed at me in Vietnamese, everyone has been great, man. Everyone's so welcoming. So I would take what they're saying to heart. So that's why I can't, wait to get out there with you one of these days. Go hit the ball around and see how it is. And I mean, there's a tournament in DC at the end of April, and then there's another one coming up in May. So I saw that Mrs. Raleigh was out there hitting the courts too. So maybe you get a little mixed
Yeah.
doubles in there.
We're not ready. I don't want to. I don't want to say game starts, game ends. I don't want to be that fast. You know what I mean? So,
No, I hear Mrs. Tailgate and I do not play together on the same team. We actually
yeah,
played together in Florida. And at a certain point, I kind of wanted to just dump her for someone else because we don't mesh well when we're on the
yeah.
court. So I hear
You
you
need
there.
that. You really do need that. And sometimes just the level of competitiveness isn't there. I mean, let's just be what it is. You know, there's some things that you're like, how could you miss that? But you got to dial it back
Oh yeah.
and just, you know what I mean. You can't be that hard with the misses. You got to just let it go.
No, she does not appreciate how competitive I am when it comes to it. So it
Hmm.
puts more stress on her. So if we want to stay married, we're not playing together. That's how we look at it.
That's a smart move, bro.
But I'm thinking maybe I can get Wes Welker to coach her because he just moved to the DMV. So we've got a lot of stuff to kind of catch up on. And since it's been a couple weeks since our last show, I wanted to kind of look through stuff that I found interesting as a fan. And that's been the one thing a lot of people have given us feedback on our show as you talk about stuff that we care about from a fan's perspective. And I did think it was kind of interesting that the team signed Wes Welker to the staff as a personnel analyst. What did you think when you saw that headline come through?
The first thing I thought was I thought he was retired, but then I delved a little deeper, and yes, he's as an analyst. And then I said, well, who am I to second guess anything that this current establishment is doing? Because for their first year, they knocked it out of the park. And if we can continue to hit home runs the way that we have, I'm going to just sit back and enjoy this ride that we're on. And a lot of people are saying that, we're in for a sophomore slump with JD or the team isn't going to be as good. Well, I'm here to tell you that no one knows the future. And it may just be that way, but then again, it might not be. So if he can elevate the players on the team the way that he has with the other teams, I'm all for it. And all I can say is the sky is the limit for our Commanders team as well as the fans that are going to see these games.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised, right? Because the last I remember Wes Welker, did you watch Hard Knocks with the Dolphins?
I can't say that. I'm sure I probably did, but I don't remember what his role was if he was on it.
So he was a wide receiver coach for the Dolphins. I only watched one episode because I don't have HBO, right? So I think I was staying at a hotel that got HBO or something. And it was the episode where the Dolphins were playing the Commanders and they kicked our ass. Right. And Tyreek torched us for like 150 plus yards in the first quarter or first half or something. And they were replaying that on Hard Knocks. And I remember Wes Welker talking about, if so-and-so is here, you can do this and torch him all day long. So that was what I remembered him from. I was surprised that he was going from the wide receiver coach down to a personnel analyst, right? And maybe just because we didn't have a wide receiver coach opening here, we got one. And maybe they're thinking three-dimensional, that if that guy gets promoted to something else, then Wes takes a spot. But to me, it seemed like a downgrade. And then I didn't realize the history Welker has with the team. So he played ball with Kingsbury in college. So that I did not know. He actually worked with Adam Peters when Peters was with the Patriots, with the Broncos, and the 49ers. And more importantly, he coached Debo the first 3 seasons of Debo's career. And when Debo started to gain a bunch of weight and his weight was fluctuating, he was actually in charge of Debo's training. So once I heard that and read all those stats, I'm thinking, all right, they guaranteed all of Debo's money. They made this investment in this guy. Granted, it was just a 5th-round pick that they gave up, but they gave him all his guaranteed money. So they're bringing Wes in to basically be Debo's keeper, to make sure they kind of get him on track and get the money out of that investment. That's kind of how I feel.
Okay, and that goes to what I just said. We trust these guys. And once again, we know that the NFL, there's talent and then there's relationships. And you know as well as I do that if you haven't burnt any bridges and you have a relationship with someone else, 9 times out of 10, they will bring you in for a futures type of job, some type of coaching job or admin job or front office job. So, that's what it boils down to. Good relationships. And because we've seen it time and time again. And the saying goes, it's not what you know, it's who you know. So I'm all for it.
Yeah, I am too. That's why I'm hoping someone that knows me reaches out to me about the pickleball and tailgating cooking job. But, I am happy that Welker is here just because the guy has done it at the highest of levels. And I think it
Yeah.
was on B. Mitch and Finley. How many Super Bowls do you think Welker won?
Was he in like 5?
He's never won a Super Bowl.
Even with Brady?
Yeah, he never won with Brady, right?
Wow.
He played in 3 with 2 with the Pats and 1 with the Broncos, and he lost all 3. Right? When I think of him and Brady and winning rings, but apparently the 2 losses he had with the Pats, the ones that Brady lost, he just never got himself a ring. So I was kind of shocked.
You see the look on my face and my answer.
Yeah, I was really kind of dumbfounded, but he's got the experience of getting there, of playing with Tom Brady, knowing what it takes to be the best in the freaking sport. So he's going to be working with personnel as well as the coaching staff, which I thought was kind of weird. But like you said earlier, man, in Peters, we trust whatever the guy wants to do with the staff. Same thing with Dan Quinn. I'm all for, right? Let's just, man, I wish that it was April 22nd already, the first day of the, off-season program, but it's the 16th right now. I mean, the draft is right around the corner. So before we know it, I don't know how many sleeps in a wake up. It's just going to be here.
So have we seen any snapshots of the guys working out? This is the time where you see all of the little videos of this person working out together, that person working out together, and running routes or whatever have you. Have we seen any Debo sightings to see is he actually losing the weight that they said that he gained? Have you seen anything?
I haven't seen any sightings of that. I did see Jaden dancing at Ayuk's wedding, but other than that, I haven't really seen any off-season workout sightings of any of our players, right? Which I'm kind of good with because, man, I think of that. I think about Robert running with a parachute and just all this other stuff that never actually came of anything. So, I know that when they get to camp, our staff is going to do what they need to do to make sure that they're good, right? And the players are going to need to do what they need to do to make sure that they're straight. So, but no, to answer your question, I haven't seen a single thing about it.
So here's another question for you. Are you hyped about this year's draft?
Nah, man, I'm not, right? We got Jaden already. and the team reached out and asked if I want to go to the draft up in Green Bay. I politely declined and said, "Nah, I appreciate it. I can't make it this year." Really, I'm just not excited for it. Right? We got the 29th pick. I think it was Mel Kiper was talking about us trading out of that. I can't imagine being there all night for day one, and then we just trade out of the pick. Granted, I got a lot of friends that are going to be going there. Not the
Yeah.
Commanders guys, but like all the hog farmers will be there, I'm assuming. But I just got a lot of friends on other teams, like you do from all your travels that are going to be there. So it'll be kind of cool to hang out with them. Just for everything I'm hearing about Green Bay, it's not exactly the spot to be in, right? Everyone's kind of curious how the hell they're going to set it up in the town. So I'm not really too excited about the draft this year, considering we already got our guy, right? So what are what can you look forward to? I mean, how about you?
I'll say that, like you, people have asked, and I said I had to say no, and I have to say that right now in the DMV area, it's when you wake up, it's roughly 45 degrees. Well, that's what the temperature is there right now, and colder. When the sun sets, it's going to be cooler. I don't have a desire to be in the cold. I'm trying to get through this cold and not go into the cold. Plus, we play them later this year. Now, maybe hadn't, if we weren't playing them later this year, maybe I would think about it a little bit more. But because I just can't see myself going to Green Bay twice in 1 year, I
Yeah.
just can't see it. And I've already been there 3 other times already.
Yeah, it's not like it's Miami, right? Miami in April. Hell yeah. I'd be there in a freaking heartbeat, right? I can
Yeah.
only think of the pickleball I'll be playing and how much I'd be surfing, right? If we were down there in Miami in April. But yeah, like you said, going to Green Bay twice in a year. I hope to be going with you to Green Bay. Like there are 2 away games I want to go to this year. Well, 3 if we play overseas. The second being Kansas City, and the third being Green Bay. Just depending on what time of year we play Green Bay. Because I've always wanted to go to Lambeau. Just the past couple times we played them, I want to say it's been November or so.
Yeah.
And man, my people are from the islands. It is too cold for me in Green Bay that time of year.
Believe it or not, Ted, believe it or not, when we did play them, it wasn't that bad.
I'll take your
It,
word
re-
for it, but I don't know, man.
it really wasn't. It wasn't as cold as I would have thought that it would have been. So as far as that aspect is concerned, uh, there was snow on the ground, but the temperature for that particular day was like in the 50s.
Oh, that's
So
not bad.
no, not bad at all. So I wasn't upset. And so and the other times that I've been to Chicago, there's been snow on the ground, but they've been in December, January timeframe, and it wasn't cold. It was once again 50s. So I thought that I was going to go to Chicago and just be hella cold, but each time that I went, the temperatures were in the 50s, 55, I'd say, and I wasn't mad at all about that.
No, that's not too bad. I mean, I'll do Green Bay at 55, right? And I think I saw something go out the other day where the schedule release is supposed to be May 12th or so. I'm not sure if
13th,
that's
14th, or 15th. Yeah,
okay, that's what
13th,
it was.
14th. So,
Yeah.
so whatever that Thursday is, because it comes out on the Thursday. So whatever that Thursday is, which I believe is the 15th, that's the day it'll be out.
Yeah, according to NFL Vice President Broadcasting Planning Mike North, the NFL is targeting 3 possible dates, somewhere in the May 13th, 14th, or 15th range, to release the actual schedule. North said during an appearance on the It's Always Game Day in Buffalo podcast. So it's just, I mean, I get wanting to be relevant 365 days a year, but man, it's annoying. And I know you've been bringing it up constantly. Like we want to plan our trips where we're going, right? People got to put leave in, and shoot, Mrs. Tailgate would have to put her leave in basically by now for the entire year to make sure she gets it. And I know a lot of our listeners are kind of the same way, and
Hmm.
it's just frustrating, and nothing's going to get solved. They ain't changing it, but we can still talk to each other and bitch about it.
Well, here's the thing. I don't necessarily mind the regular season coming out when it always does in May or whatever have you. But for me, if there's an inkling of an international trip, I think that that should be put out sooner than later. And I do believe that we're going to find out right after the draft if we're going to have an international game or not.
I
Now,
hope so. I mean, I got to save
no
some
one,
money.
no one has told me that, so I can't say that. Oh, I have a source or anything. That's just what I feel. I just feel that once the buzz. See, right now this is all about buzz, and like you said, being relevant. And what I believe is everybody's hyped right now about the draft. Once the draft goes away, there's no more news. So about 2 days after the draft, I assume that I feel that they will come out and say, here are the teams for the international games. That's what I believe. And so it'll be just a couple days before, or maybe what is that, 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks before the actual season drops. But it's another way to keep you relevant for that short time frame, even though everyone's riding the NFL jock. I mean, that's just how it is, man. We're all on the jock, and we're hitting our veins because we can't get enough of it. You know, we're hooked at this point, and they know it.
Yeah. I mean, NFL's king, right? I was at the Defenders home opener, had a blast, got to go down on the field and do the whole flag thing. I'm going
Right.
again this Easter Sunday, right? I mean, what a way to celebrate Easter. Going to feed the beer snake. Wife's not too happy about that, but I got season tickets, so it is what it is. But NFL's king, man. And it just, I hope you're right. I was actually trying to see when they announced the 2024 away opponents for those games, but I can't find it. Maybe some of our listeners will know. But man, it's just getting a little annoying because it is an all year thing. Just let us know, right? Especially because we gotta book leave, we gotta save some cash, figure things out, and not all of us are like you that go to every away game. So those of us have to kind of pick and choose which ones we can go to. And I know some of my Hell Barbecue crew, they said, well, they're not going to go overseas because they want to save money to go to a bunch of the US away games, but also depends on when they are, right? So I guess we'll figure out what happens. I'm just hoping that, when we play Miami, it's also either in Madrid or it's not in September, right? Let's get Miami in December when it's crap weather here in DC, or like beginning of January or something like that. But part of me did want to go back to the draft in Green Bay because I did talk to Goodell last year and I wanted to ask him the same question. Say, Roger, I guess you didn't listen to me from last year when we had that chat because you were supposed to announce both teams or at least give the other team, like the visiting team, a little bit more of a heads up. So you and I got to have a sit down, but we'll figure things out when it comes out. But this actually just came out. The DC Council here. Let me pull this up. This is according to Mark Seagraves from NBC4.
Can we get an alert? Can we get an alert?
There we go. Well, there we go. So, according to a report from NBC4 Washington, DC and the Commanders are close to a deal worth more than $3 billion to build a new stadium at the RFK site, with the Commanders putting at least $2 billion of that up to do so. Per Mark Seagraves' report, the deal, which is still in negotiations, would put in up to $2.5 billion of the current project total, with DC on the hook for up to $850 million. Their total going towards eligible capital costs associated with the stadium and infrastructure for the surrounding campus, including parking for the entire campus. Seagraves reports that sources close to the deal have the framework in place, with DC paying out $500 million between 2026 to 2030 for infrastructure work, with the rest paid in 2032 through taxes generated from the development, as the plan would be to open the new stadium for the 2030 NFL season. Per the report, a preliminary agreement obtained by NBC4 indicated the team would be the master developer of the entire 180-acre site, which has been earmarked by the mayor and the DC Council as desired to include mixed-use residential and retail with or without a new stadium. So it looks like this thing is happening, man. I mean, I had no doubt it would. I'm actually, not gonna lie, I'm a little bummed to hear that, just because of all the stuff we've been talking about, possibly no tailgating, especially if DC is going to be in charge of paying for parking and fixing garages and all that stuff. But just because we got this and didn't plan on talking about it, I'm kind of curious to hear what you think right off the top.
I'll be a season ticket holder for at least 5 more years.
Yeah, I mean,
I can say
2030, when you think about it, ain't that far away.
no, and that's with them working around the clock, bro. I mean, I've seen them put the Pentagon back together within a year. Actually, the Pentagon, for people who don't know, was actually built in a year. So I've seen them back in the what was it 1940? They built the Pentagon, and that was built in a year's time with crews working 24/7. After the plane hit the building, it was put back within a year with crews working 24/7. So what I do know is if there's a will, there will be a way, and I honestly believe that even that because we have said so much about the whole tailgating aspect of things, that they're going to figure out a way to get some tailgating, a tailgating lot or something for the fans. You just can't take this big of a step without it. That's just what I feel. I don't know for sure, but that's just what I feel because ultimately your fan base is who you want to attend games, and I think that you got to put that in there for that experience. So for 5 years, not to say that after the fifth year I won't be a fan. I'm not saying that at all. For anybody who said, "Well, Rally Captain said he wasn't going to be a fan," that's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying that I know for a fact that I will have season tickets for 5 years, and I'm hoping to see. Hopefully, with the PSLs, won't be too much to price me out. That's what I'm hoping. What
I mean,
about
the
you, man?
fact that, yeah,
I feel good about this. I do feel good about it. At the end of the day, you can't fight City Hall. You never have, and you never will be able to. So I'm embracing it, and I'm glad that the word has come out now to where I got 5 years to wrap my head around it. What do you think?
I'm right there with you. I mean, even when we get the new stadium, I got to figure out how the hell I'm going to pay for my PSLs. Right? If we get
Mm-hmm.
PSLs, I got to believe we're going to, just
Mm-hmm.
because that's what all teams are doing. So why would the Harris ownership group cut us some slack? Right? They're in this to make money. They spent $6 billion on this team, so they're not here to give us charity and free stuff. So I might not have as many season tickets as I do now when we get the new stadium, but I will find a way to go there. I might not be sitting in the lower bowl like I do now. I might have to, move up to the nosebleeds and bring some, tissues with me just because my nose is gonna be running the entire time up there. But I want to find a way to get there. I'm just, I wish I had the faith you do to think that they will do something for the fans in regards to tailgating that will take care of the masses, right? And I've had people reach back out, say, "Your tailgate Ted, you'll be fine." I'm not worried about me. I'm worried about other groups and other people out there that love tailgating as much as I do. And not to rehash like old episodes that we've done, but really that's what concerns me the most is just our fan base getting screwed here. And I do wish that ownership would come out and say something now that this story just dropped by NBC to kind of cool us down a little bit. I'm actually at the point where now I kind of want to go to Lambeau, so I know I can talk to ownership when I'm there and talk to them about this and everything else going on, because this is a huge deal. I mean, it's coming back to DC. There's no way around it, right?
Yeah.
Landover, Raljon, we ain't going back there. I'm happy it's not going to Virginia, right? I just, no offense to our listeners and the fans that live down there, but I just don't think there was a good location in Virginia for this place to be. Anywhere along 95 would have been horrible, would have been a mess. I think that this makes sense for it to be there, but I need to see more details before I say I'm happy or not, because I just don't trust DC council and all that stuff to do what's right in regards to the entire structure being fan friendly, right? They're going to compare it to Cap One and Nats Park and other venues where you just can't do the stuff you can do out in Raljon.
I, I I'm not saying that it's going to totally go away. I'm saying that I'm sure they're going to have a swath of of grass or a parcel of field to where we will be able to have that because they understand that tailgating is as an American as cherry pie or apple pie with baseball. You have one of the ebbs and flows of it. So as far as, let's just say, instead of I don't know, 5 acres, they'll give us 2 acres. You know what I mean? So there will
Yeah.
be something. No, and everyone will not be able to, but we will adapt and overcome, and we'll make the best of it. And I look forward to it, and I would love for us. What we do know is, let's look at the good side. What we do know is a year basically after it's built, or even the same year, we will host a Super Bowl.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So
Super Bowl, draft, whatever it
yeah,
may be.
oh yeah,
One, if not both, are coming here to DC, which will
definitely.
be freaking awesome. I mean, shoot, the Bucks got to play at home in the Super Bowl, right? During 2020, that COVID year. I was actually supposed to go. I was going to take my father-in-law, who actually lives in Tampa, and to be able to take him there. And then it just so happened it was his team. But then obviously people couldn't go to that game unless you were a first responder living in Tampa. So we didn't qualify. But can you imagine if we got to host a Super Bowl? I mean, I remember Drew Cohen talking about and asking me where he can tailgate in New Orleans, right? If we were going to play down there. Like, imagine the party this town would go through if we got a chance to actually have that at RFK 2.0. But
Yeah.
man, there's a lot of moving parts still. I mean, the DC budget for 2025 is still jacked because Congress has not voted on changing it because of that continuing resolution. So there is a huge deficit in the city's budget right now. This would not be voted on until 2026 when that budget comes out. But man, the writing's on the wall. This is happening. So I'm going to try and stay positive and optimistic about it and then just go from there. But I'd love to hear what our listeners think. Send us a message. Let us know, what you guys are thinking now that this news just came out. But something else that fans might be interested in is, did you see that the new rules for Hard Knocks changed?
Barely. I've been so busy to where I haven't really been able to keep up with the news. Enlighten us. What's going on?
So previously, a team that made the playoffs in the previous 2 seasons was not eligible to be on Hard Knocks. They changed that. So now that means if you made the playoffs, you can still be a candidate for Hard Knocks. So with that being said, we're eligible. We weren't eligible last year because we had a new coach.
Right.
And we would not have been eligible this year because we made the playoffs. But because they changed that rule, we can be on it now.
Well,
Historically,
yeah.
I've given my opinion. I want to hear, do you want the team to be on Hard Knocks?
Well, at this juncture, Ted, it's not a matter of what I want or don't want. I believe we're going to be on Hard Knocks. JD has caught fire nationwide, worldwide. People want to see him. People want to see the Commanders. And I, for one, back in the day, did not want us to be on Hard Knocks, but now I do want us to be on Hard Knocks. I don't mind us showcasing what we have. When things are going good for the team, you know as well as I do, you'll go from worst to first on the networks, and I believe it'll be a big draw. What other team out there realistically has the latitude that we have right now? I don't know very many. I mean, you could have said 2 years ago it was Detroit, because when Detroit was going up the ladder, we surpassed Detroit. We're going up there. Everybody wants to know what we're doing, how we're doing it, why we're doing it, and just get a part of that buzz. I'm all for it. I look forward to it. We've never been on Hard Knocks, and with this new rule, that just tells me that it's kind of like insider trading, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You couldn't do it at first, but now you can, to put yourself in that position. So I feel as though that's what the NFL is trying to do. Like, we know that we're going to have. What do you think we're going to have as far as primetime games this year? I think that we're going to have a lot of primetime games because we knocked it out of the park last year. We knocked it out of the park, and we're the new kid on the block, if you will, that everybody wants to see. So I foresee us being on. I could be wrong, but I foresee us being on Hard Knocks. I look forward to being on Hard Knocks, and I also look forward to the primetime games that we're going to get. And I look forward to damn near going to the Super Bowl this year, bro. That's I'm putting it out there.
Yeah, I'm like you, right? I did not want us to be on Hard Knocks prior to this, right? I was embarrassed of our franchise. I was embarrassed of what would come out. Just think of how bad the Giants looked this past season, right? With getting rid of Saquon, all that stuff on TV, all those memes and everything that came out. Imagine how much worse ours would have been with Snyder and Bruce Allen and then just whole dysfunctional mess that we've had up until the new ownership group. So a lot of fans actually argued with me saying, no, I want to see the mess. It's like, guys, I'm behind the scenes. You don't want to see how this sausage is made, right? This
No,
mess would just have been embarrassing and it would have lived on forever. Now, I think you're right. I do think we are going to be on. And I almost feel that they did change the rule because of how well we have done. And it's kind of a model for how teams can turn things around. I mean, think about it, man. You and I were getting ready to go to Detroit last year. So many questions about this team, so many questions about this franchise and this coaching staff. I remember getting into an argument on Fox 5 with Easy Street because he didn't want Dan Quinn to be our coach because he was an ex-Cowboy, right? And now, look, a year later, right? Everything is gold. So I'm fine with all of that, being on the biggest and brightest stage. I might actually have to get HBO at that point for the rest of the world to see because we used to be the laughing stock and we're not anymore. And you talk about
yeah,
primetime games. Apparently, the max games you can be scheduled for primetime is 6, right? But you can get a 7th primetime game through flex scheduling. I'm pretty much sure we're going to get 6 primetime games this year, right? Jaden, the kid, is freaking lights out. They want to showcase him. Plus, who we're playing this year, right? Jaden going up against Patrick Mahomes, the rematches against the Eagles, right? Jaden and Tua. Like, just think about the scripts they kind of write themselves. So I do think we're probably going to get that max amount of primetime games. So it will be interesting. Maybe, we'll get some nighttime tailgates that I can't really stand, but I am looking forward to seeing the team more so from that lens that we haven't had a chance to see. I mean, our social media team's been doing a good job making sure that, they're doing and putting engaging stuff out there. But to be able to see it from that hard knock lens, it's a little bit different. And now knowing that I'm not going to be embarrassed or dreading the fact that it's coming out, I'll actually look forward to it, man. It'll be appointment TV, right? And it'll give you and I something to talk about on top of all the other talking heads around town. So I'm
and
hoping it's
who
true.
knows?
I'm hoping that rule change helps us.
And who knows? Maybe we will be able to do a live pod from Hard Knocks. But here's the other thing that you got to think about, Ted. 2 years ago, we were in Chicago, prime time. Last year, home, prime time. And now we play Chicago again. Do you realize how much buzz is going to be around that game? Because after we beat Chicago, they went belly up.
Oh, yeah.
And you know that there's bulletin board material for our squad again with in those guys' locker rooms. So I see the NFL blowing this thing up to for the three-peat, like the Thriller in Manila type of thing with us in Chicago, because everyone knows that I'm not going to say we shouldn't have won that game, but everyone knows that we were basically out of that game until that Hail Mary. So, and those guys have not been able to live that down. So
Yeah.
I know,
That's another one.
yeah. So I feel as though that is going to be a huge primetime matchup.
I mean, shoot, we play the Lions, right? An NFC division playoff rematch, right? We beat Detroit that no one thought we should have. Detroit should have been in the Super Bowl, and we knocked their ass out. Best believe that game is going to be prime time, right? There's no way they're going to make that a 1 o'clock freaking game. So and it's at home. So it's also weird. I feel like the Bears are in the NFC East now. We play them way too much.
Too
Granted,
much.
we have beat them, but I am tired of making Chicago dogs, right? They don't really have that much good food, and I'm not making deep dish pizzas at the tailgate. So I am looking forward to, getting some new food at the tailgate this year with Seattle coming to town and doing some of that Pacific Northwest cuisine. and maybe we can find some something Denver's known for. Maybe we'll do some pop brownies for a little Mile High stuff. I'm just kidding,
Ooh.
just kidding. But I do think that Detroit and something like Chicago, you said, they'd be primetime games, man. Our team, we are the hot chick. Everybody's going to want to see us now, and we've got some good
Yeah,
matchups this year, so I'm looking forward to it.
definitely, definitely. Like you said, in Kansas City, I mean, who doesn't like to go to Kansas City? I love Kansas City. So I'm looking forward to all this stuff, man, and just embracing it for another year. Another year.
Yeah. Speaking of another year, did you see this year's draft hats that came out?
Draft of the draft hat. Yeah, I didn't mind it. I thought it was pretty cool. I haven't bought one yet. Normally when I see stuff like that, I jump right on it. Um, but I like the fact that they keep trying to put the hog in the tradition of that type of the nostalgia of our legacy on new items, and I think that's a good thing to bring the old and the new together.
So this is last year's draft hat, right? That I actually got. Well, trying to see here. Okay, well, you can see it on camera, kind of. Got it from the draft last year, right? When you and I were in the inner circle, they gave us a swag bag and we got a draft hat and some other stuff from it. So I'm looking at this year's draft hat. I like it because of the pin with the hog, right? It's a pin, though. I don't think it's actually.
Oh, it's not sewn in.
I
I
thought it
thought it
was
was
a.
sewn. I thought it
Okay,
was
so
sewn
I
in.
want to find out from our list. No, it's a pin. It's not sew in because I'm looking at a side profile of the hat. And you can see here that the little hog is sticking off to the side because it's a pin that's in the hat. So, not that it makes a big deal, but I did see somebody out the other day that was wearing this. So I was like, oh, hey, honey, that's the new draft hat. And he saw me and actually heard me say it. But I don't like these little leaves on the freaking front of the hat. Can you see them?
Leaves?
So here, it's easier to see on this picture.
Oh, okay.
So
Well,
the darker version has those two in the bill of the hat. So this is the lighter one. This is the darker one. It's not as noticeable, but on the brim of the hat,
there
you've
are
got,
leaves there.
yeah,
Uh, I
I
don't
thought it
see
was
it.
kind of
Okay.
weird. After I looked at it a little more in depth, like, I kind of wanted to get it just because of the hog that they got on the front of this thing. I mean, granted, I need a new closet because I've got too many hats in the one that are hanging from the door. So I might have to add this one and put it on the other closet. But that right there kind of makes me not want to get it. So I got to see it in person, maybe stop at the team
Yeah.
store just to check it out. But yeah, it's not stitched in. It's actually a pin of a hog that's
So
on
you
that
think
thing.
they sell them at the team store?
Yeah, they got to. I know last year they had them at the team store. So I would
Okay,
think
because
that they have them.
a lot of times the team store doesn't have everything that they do online. I mean, so just because due to space, but I would like to believe that they would have it there as well.
I'll swing by this week to check it out, report and see if it's there. I just don't see the pin on the snapback or the other one. It's only on the fitted hat. So we'll have to see. I am curious what the listeners think because I haven't seen that many of these in the wild. Maybe because they just got announced, but I've only seen one. I am seeing a lot more Commander stuff. And there was actually, when I was down in Florida, somebody wearing Washington gear down there as well. We ended up going to Disney Springs in Orlando to go eat. And there was a dude there rocking Commander's gear. And I wanted to say, oh, hey, nice gear. But at that point, I also want to just leave the guy alone because he was with his family. But I'm torn on the hats, man. I'm thinking maybe, maybe not. But did you see that the draft party got announced? You and I have been talking about that. The team is going to be doing something at National Harbor the Saturday of the draft. That is on the 26th. So those of you that are wondering, 11 o'clock to 4 o'clock at National Harbor. That's where they had it last year and where they had it the year before. So are you planning on making it out?
That's what the plan is.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm thinking about it too. I'm not gonna lie. I'll be there. I got the pickleball tournament the next day. So I'm probably going to practice a little bit beforehand in the daytime. But they changed it last year, right? Last year they had VIP. at the very end of no, 2 years ago, those VIP at the very end of the Ferris wheel. We got in
Yeah.
there. Last year, they put VIP inside that one secluded area you kind of couldn't get to, and it wasn't as much fun. And I also think it was, did it rain or it was close to being raining? Maybe it's just because I was so tired from going to Detroit, but I don't think the weather
Yeah.
was that good last year either.
It was chilly. It was chilly and slightly rain. Yeah.
So I think you can RSVP, but that just gives them a head count on how much swag to bring. You don't have to RSVP to attend. They got meet and greets with the legends, live performances and appearances by the Command Force, giveaways, kids' activities. I mean, there was a ton of alumni there last year. I mean, it's a ton of fun. So Rally is planning on being there. I'm planning on being there. I'm hoping we get a chance to see some listeners out there. So FYI, parking out there. There's a ton of parking garages. I took an Uber thinking I was going to be drinking more than I did. That was a pain. They do have water taxis that you can take from Georgetown, from the Southwest waterfront, and from Old Town to get out there. So it's kind of something fun to do. Just get out to National Harbor. It drops you off right there by the Gaylord, which is right by
Yeah.
where this is going to be. So if you guys are trying to think of a fun way to get out there, and shoot, I actually think that there was a picture of us in the stuff from last year when we were there, but
At the
just
draft.
want to make sure our listeners knew that the party
Yeah.
was going on.
Come on out, guys. It's free. I mean, come on out and let this be the first time that everyone can get together as a true fan base family to cheer on the guys for this up and coming new year. I mean, I can't. You, everyone always says, well, stuff costs money. You can't do it. Well, this is one of the times that they're giving you a gimme. It's free. Come interact with everyone. You know, like we said, hey, we'll be there. Not that they were stars or anything, but hey, we'll be there to talk to everybody. So along with the other guys and gals that'll be there. So we look forward to seeing everyone.
I remember coming home early from Detroit just so we could go to this,
Mm-hmm.
right? And
Yeah.
it was a ton of fun. I'll be there smoking a cigar, hanging out, just shooting the S. So looking forward to seeing listeners out there.
With your
And
draft hat.
we'll see. If the team store has it and those little leaves up top don't drive me that. The leaves remind me, and those of you that aren't watching this on YouTube, like old Roman times, like Julius Caesar, where they would wear those leaves like on top of their heads. That's what it looks like. And it just seems kind of odd to me. I don't know why New Era is doing that with the hats this year, but they put that on all the hats, right? Not just our hat.
Oh, okay. See, I thought it was just our hat because I was going to say with the Commanders, you know, a lot of times when you see those type of hats, they call them scrambled eggs on the hats. So the officers have those.
Oh, that's
type
what
of,
that's called.
yeah, they'll have those on their hats. So I thought that it was just Commanders, but okay, they put the scrambled eggs on all the hats. Okay.
Yeah, it's on every single hat. So New Era design, someone for the NFL designs the hats. New Era is the one that sells it, but they use the same design for every team, right? They just put the logo and the colors on it. And I'm looking at the Steelers one. Yeah, the Steelers pin, it's a pin on the Steelers one as well. It looks like it's a picture of a bridge or something out there. Well, I'm guessing means something to people in Pittsburgh. So it just, I don't know. It seems odd to me. It actually, I don't hate it as much as the Steelers one, just because it pops out way too much color wise. But I might be there with my new hat, man. But if you guys want to smoke a cigar with me, I'll see you out there that Saturday. I'm sure Rally will see you out there too. Probably not smoking a cigar, but should be a good
Why
time.
not? Why not?
I never see you smoking cigars, man. You smoke cigars?
Yeah, every once in a while. I mean, I'm not some aficionado that has to have the pop, 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 but I mean, yeah,
I'll bring
I'll
one
go
for
for
you then.
one.
All right. I bought some more when I was down in Florida. I'll bring one for you. Light one up with you. It won't be maybe it'll be a preseason victory cigar since I don't actually have a victory cigar. Actually, no, it'll be a successful post-draft victory cigar that I'll have with you out there, man.
Yeah, because no one knows who we're getting, and I'm tired of all these pundits saying, "Oh, they're going to do this." You don't know, so just be amazed like everyone else and surprised like everyone else. Just let it happen.
That's why I didn't want to do a who do you think we should draft or what do you think about this mock draft show? Think that's just, A, that's not our show. And B, I don't care, right? I trust Adam Peters to do what he needs to do to make this
Bingo.
team more successful. So
Bingo.
if we stay in 29, if we trade back, whatever he decides to do, I'm all good with, right? It cannot get worse than everything that Ron Rivera did in his regime with all of our draft picks, right? I mean, none of those first round picks are here at this point. So I trust these guys to do what's right. And I can't wait because guess when rookie minicamp is?
When?
They announced all the dates May 8th to 11th, right? So phase one of the offseason program is April 22nd to 25th, and then April 28th to May 1st. Phase two is May 5th to 8th, May 12th to 15th, and 19th to 22nd. And phase three is the 27th to 30th of May, and then June 2nd to 6th. And then minicamp is June 10 to 12. So if you're a season ticket holder, be on the lookout for emails to sign up for minicamp and OTAs and everything else. Because I remember last year, we really didn't get that many options, right? And it
No,
filled
right.
up fast.
It was just training camp. They didn't have any. I don't think they had any mini camp type slots that they did in years past.
They were redoing the field and doing all that construction last year. So
Mhm.
we just got training camp last year, but all of that is done. So I would think that we should get something for mini camp or OTAs this year. I don't know for a fact. Maybe it's just me putting it out there in the universe, hoping it happens. But it wouldn't surprise me because this is a perfect opportunity for the team to try and sell more season tickets, right? The
Yeah.
new stadium announcement about RFK. If you're on the season ticket holder list now, then you get priority for the new stadium. Come out to this, blah, blah, blah. So I'm saying just be on the lookout, check your spam emails to make sure, you're not missing anything because I got a feeling that we're going to be getting something on that invite sometime soon.
The other thing that I feel, Ted, is, and I'm not for sure on this, but I have a feeling that the team is going to take back over the rallies. And so that's something that I'm looking forward to see what they're going to do, how they're going to do it, how they will possibly implement myself to see how things go. I'm really interested in that because I think that we made a mark last season with ownership, seeing just how fun and the attendance that people were there and asking for. So I think that we may have hit our mark with that. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they do as far as that's concerned.
Another reason for you and I to make that trip up to Green Bay. Maybe pin them in a corner, ask them some hard hitting questions, man. Are we going to
Over the
tailgate?
balcony, huh?
I'm not going to go that far, but are we going to tailgate at RFK 2.0? Are you taking care of the freaking rallies? And let us know if we're going to freaking Madrid or Brazil. You guys should know by now, right?
They know.
Rally and I won't tell anybody. We'll keep it between us. Just us, our listeners. It'll be fine. But yeah, I hope you're right, man. So it takes that load off your shoulders. It'll be good. And I just seeing these dates just gets me excited. Now the draft party's here, training camp dates are here, OTA minicamp, all that stuff. So it's just getting me excited for the fact that football's almost back. And I'm trying to enjoy like the Caps run right now. The Stanley Cup playoffs should happen. I think start for the Caps on Monday. So it'll be good. But like you said when we started, man, football's king. Right. And that's really what controls everything.
Yeah. Especially in the DMV. I mean, no disrespect to Ovi or the Caps, but when it comes down to it, people want to see the Commanders do well, and they want good news. And right now, we've got a bevy of good news that's coming out.
Yeah, we do. And regardless of what happens next week in the draft, we'll have another show before then. I know people want wide receivers. They want defensive ends, this and that. Whatever happens, happens. It's going to be good news because that just means we're one step closer to football.
Right. And if you guys notice, really, once again, haven't been any bad rumors. There's no scandals, no off-season reports. This is what we've all been waiting for, and we've got it now. And we ain't looking back. We're looking forward. And with that being said, I hear the music playing in the background, which lets me know that another episode of the DMV Mess Hall is coming to a close. Thank you guys for riding with us. We greatly appreciate it. And as Ted said, you got some comments or reviews or thoughts, hit us up. Let us know, because ultimately we want to make things better for everyone, including ourselves. So, in closing, remember, rep it hard. If you don't rep it at all, rally captain, tailgate Ted. Peace.